opportunity to be special.
John, so obviously, the other drafts you guys had higher picks, but now you have a lower pick. So how tricky is that going to be to kind of navigate that again?
Well, it's fun this time of year having the lower, and being able to look at the Boses of the world and those guys, but it's a lot more fun playing deep into the year. So you take the later pick, and we don't have as much equity as we've had in years past, and so we got to figure out a way. We got to be creative. We got to be exhaustive in all the avenues we look at to improve our football team, and we're committed to doing that.
How proud were you of Jimmy Garoppolo's development of kind of becoming a Super Bowl leading quarterback?
Extremely proud of Jimmy. I can't speak enough about what a great teammate he is. From day one when he entered our building, he made everyone else around him better, and I think he's continued to do that. And had his first full season as a starter in the NFL and ended up in the Super Bowl. And I know Jimmy feels the same way we all do. We left a little out there, and that's a shame. That's something we're going to have to deal with, really for the rest of our lives. But nobody knows that more than him. I'm incredibly proud, as is our entire organization, for the way he's handled himself and the way he's played, and for the way he's kind of led our team.
How much weight do you put on the
which has always been at the end of the week for me now, where they used to be at the beginning of the week.
Kyle, will you guys be looking at offensive line options this week?
Offensive what?
Offensive line, like options, like players.
Yeah, we're looking at every option this week. There's not a position we don't look at.
You mentioned your passing game coordinator.
Just flew in.
Pete, with the Jadvion Clowney kind of questionable return, is Raquan Davis, defensive lineman from Alabama, on your draft board?
Everybody's on the draft board right now. It's so early, we're just getting started.
Pete, I talked to Shaquille Griffin at the Pro Bowl, and he says he has some big expectations for the defense in 2020. What are your thoughts on what that unit can do in 2020?
Well, we're expecting to improve in some really critical areas. Pass rush is something that we're really focusing on. We really liked the way we turned the ball over last year. We got the ball a lot, made some nice plays and stuff that gave us a chance, but we need to do some things more consistently, and that's rush the passer. That isn't just the guys up front. That's the whole connection between how we cover them down and how we make them hold the football and all of that, but it'll be a big focus for us.
How we're going to put it together with our roster. Obviously, we have a lot of free agents, a lot of business decisions in front of us, and we're still working through that process. But just excited to be here and to get the draft process started. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Coach, what are your early impressions on the Cowboys organization?
The organization, the Cowboys organization, it's a unique place. I've enjoyed every day there. The energy is awesome. I think you feel that from the first time you walk through the doors. So it's the passion, and it really starts with the Jones family, just the way they approach everything. So I've really had my head down, and I think like all coaches, when you're in that first year, you're just trying to get to the next meeting, get things organized, and because there's a lot of things that are different for all of us. I got a lot of coaches on my staff that I have not worked with before, so just putting together protocol, policy, the approach and everything we do. So whether it's from game management, football technology, going to Oxnard for training camp, so we just have been grinding through all those things and just trying to make sure we're ready. We will be ready when the players get back officially April 6th.
Is Dak Prescott your friend?
That's why we'll prepare the season, so it doesn't matter who the opponent is.
Coach, what are your thoughts on the newly proposed CBA?
I'm just watching like everybody else.
What's the importance for you to familiar
for the fans? But playoff football, having an extra team in there, I think will be awesome.
How will you be working with Stephen Jones to evaluate players during this week?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
How will you be working with Stephen Jones to evaluate players during the week?
Well, I mean, we have a network, an operation. Stephen and Will McClade is very impressed with what they have in place there. Especially from a technology standpoint, their analytics set up the way they go about is different than my past experiences. So I'm looking forward to it, and we're off to a good start.
What's your plans on interacting or counter?
Go right ahead.
Sean, there have been a lot of rumors about Jared Goff. How much confidence do you still have in him?
Oh, a lot. Yeah, I think the thing I'm most confident in is the way that he finished the season. And I think to be able to work through, both of us together, a little bit of adversity this year, and then see the way that he responded. And I think really when you look at the last 5 games of the season, you can take a lot of things that he did really well in that latter half to be able to draw on, to be able to grow from. And then, like anything else, you always look at the good and the bad and you say, how can we get better? And he's a resilient guy. He's got a great track record of being able to respond, and I think he demonstrated that this past season, and we're very confident in Jared.
So you guys are looking to upgrade the defense. What are your thoughts on cornerback Jeff Okudah?
You know what? I'm just getting into it. He was impressive from afar. I mean, you just look at the command, you look at the presence that he has affecting the game as a corner, and the success that they had at Ohio State was really impressive. And I know that Jeff Hafley's a great coach that I have a relationship with, and he spoke very highly of him. And now he's at Boston College as the head coach. But I'm looking forward to really diving into his tape even more and really being able to see where he goes, because he's certainly going to be gone before we get a chance to pick.
Coach, a growing number of. But to answer your question, we're open.
Dave, have you met with Tua yet?
I'm sorry?
Have you met with Tua yet?
No, Tua?
Yeah, have you met with him yet?
No, I haven't. I have not personally met with him yet, no.
Hey, a lot has been made about your opinion with analytics of football.
All right, so I've obviously got to pick it back up.
Dave, what do you feel about the wide receiver class this year? What do you feel about
pretty darn good group. It really is. A lot of fast fellas. And there's some interesting guys.
Dave, you have comfort as a head coach to have a veteran guy like that in that.
Yeah, absolutely, because he's been through everything. There's nothing he hasn't seen, and he came up big for us last season, and we expect the same in the future.
Matt, you guys got pushed around in the NFC Championship game. So will you be looking for guys that are more physical at the combine this week, like guys who are playing with more physicality in terms of like?
Yeah, I don't think the physicality had a whole lot to do with it. They had a great game plan, and ultimately they went out and executed their plan a lot better than we did. So I think there's a lot of facets that we can improve upon moving forward. But I'm confident in the guys that we have on our roster, and certainly throughout this process in the off season, we're always trying to add to that.
What are your thoughts working with Aaron Rodgers in year 1?
You're saying going into year 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I mean, here's a veteran guy that plays at the highest level of anybody. He's a future Hall of Famer, and I think just the foundation's been laid for us. So, he knows exactly what to expect going in year 2, and certainly we're going to refine some of the things we do offensively, but just really excited to get him back in the building and work through that process.
What do you like about
We got our cleanup hitter coming up. Want to start off by congratulating the Kansas City Chiefs on their World Championship. Mr. Hunt, Coach Reed, Brett Veach, and their entire staff. It's hard to watch the Super Bowl when you're not in it, but obviously there's a lot of bonds that tie us with that organization and that team, and just want to say congratulations as we start off.
Howie, how essential is it to get Carson Wentz some wide receiver help?
We're always looking to add weapons and help for our quarterback. It's a big part of our job is to try to surround him with playmakers, protect him, of course, and so that's something that will always be a focus as we start an off season.
So you made a decision.
I don't know if I answered your question.
Howie, Darius Slay Jr. is on the market. Are you looking to trade for him to improve your cornerback depth?
Are you looking to get me fined for tampering with another team? That would be the question, yeah. We're not going to answer about any players on any other teams. It's our job to explore everything. We are going to look at everything, trade market, free agent market, the draft, to improve our football team.
How you talked about needing to get young.
All right,
Coach.
Water's good. You got mine.
Coach, obviously with backup quarterbacks, you guys have had Nick Foles and then Josh McCown last year. This year, maybe Nate Sudfeld will be more of a prominent role. How do you feel about putting Sudfeld in that type of role?
Yeah, I mean, we've been real comfortable with Nate. He's been with us now the last few years. Very comfortable with him. Obviously, he has an opportunity, and we'll see what happens this spring when we get down the road here with him. But he's put himself in a position to compete and possibly be our number 2.
With the running backs, guys have been injured and guys have been kind of retiring. Will you be looking at the combine this week to kind of find a running back for the future?
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for us as coaches. This is the first time for us to really put eyes on these college players, and we're looking to add value and talent at every position, not just running back. But we've done this the last couple of years, and we're going to continue with this process.
Doug, Jason has been really on.
Hello, everyone. It's good to get here to the Combine. It's good to start the evaluation of a lot of these young players. Excited to try to improve our football team this off season and get back to work. But we've got a good team, and we'll keep grinding away.
Coach, what needs do you think you need to assess in the draft this year?
Well, honestly, we're always trying to find better players at all the positions, and every team has certain holes, but it's not necessarily in the draft. We can take care of those things through free agency. We can take care of them, with trades or any other combination of things.
What are your thoughts on the offensive line class?
I think the tackles are pretty good. I think the guards maybe dropped off a little bit from last year, but again, we're just starting the process. We're going to try and figure out what's the best fit for us. It's important that the players, whoever we end up drafting, fit our culture and the way that we like to do things. They fit great in the locker room and the way we practice, the way we do things.
Coach,
I thought our coaches did a great job of getting him to play fast. So he was able to get out from under center, get the ball out, get it to the right read early. I thought they did a great job of coaching him up to get to those reads quickly and go from there. And then, obviously the running game helped because that helped with the play action pass.
Coach, I talked to Dalvin Cook at the Pro Bowl, and he said the message that he gave you guys, that you gave the Vikings before the wild card game against the Saints is what motivated them to win the game. What was that message that you gave them?
I don't know, it must have been good.
Coach, where do you see defensive football going as guys like Derwin James and
Coach, what are your interactions with Dan Snyder been like?
They've been very good, very supportive. He's been tremendous. He really has. He's been around occasionally, and when he is, we visit. We just talk and converse, and he just wants to make sure we have everything we need. We have the things that we need to go forward and be successful.
Are you entertaining trade offers for the number 2 pick?
We are looking at everything. Everything is possible. Everything is an option. What we do, we're going to decide as a group, and we'll go forward from that.
Are you happy with the fact that you caught?
Here we are again.
Coach, so far at the Combine, who are the players that that the Buccaneers have kind of met with so far?
Say it again?
Who are the players you've kind of met with so far?
We've only met with a couple of guys so far. We just drag it on throughout the whole week, but we don't usually publish who we meet with.
compared to last year when you didn't spend a lot of time personally evaluating quarterbacks, what's that transition been to this year where are you spending comparisons out there, not the guy, but the superstar?
Yeah, you know, the athleticism of some of these guys is getting to be amazing that you didn't see in years past.
Coach, have you been looking at any defensive? Coach, have you been looking at any defensive linemen specifically?
Yeah, when they get here, we'll look at all of them. You know, we'll watch them all.
Hey, Coach, seeing what you did.
You know, for the most part, I feel like he had a good feel, but I think it can really take a big leap going in a year or two.
Coach, Kyler Murray took a little bit of a step this year, obviously your first year as well. Are you looking for wide receiver options for him this week?
We'll see. There's some great ones in this draft. I mean, I think there's going to be up through round 4 some top guys that are still left. And so we're going to, do our due diligence and make sure we are ready if one of those guys is there for us.
His talent, there's not a question about that. It's really just a matter of just making sure that he's full speed when he comes back.
Matt, this is your first combine as an NFL head coach. How's the GM been kind of guiding you through this process?
Well, you know, Marty's been unbelievable to me just in general. You know, obviously I've been a head coach. I've had a chance to be in the NFL, you know, as an assistant coach. But my first time as a head coach, Marty has laid out a great plan for us. He's kind of helped guide me throughout all the personnel things in terms of having a great plan, and I think we're working really well together. I think there's a good synergy, not just between Marty and myself, but between the coaches and the scouts. Because I think when there's alignment, when you have the same vision, when everybody sees things the same way, you have a really good chance to be successful. So Marty's great at that.
Matt,